emails. Love it and hate it, kind of all at the same time. It's one of those items that's part of the necessity world of business, but we really get frustrated by it because it overwhelms us on a regular basis. It's pretty common for the average business person to have 120 emails a day filtering into their email system, and it just depends as to what you have for screening. Where I work, about 90% of all different types of emails are filtered out through their different aspects of the thing of trying to eliminate spam and everything else. That's pretty common in the world today. Unless you have a good filtering system at your business, you'll be overwhelmed by the amount of spam. And nowadays, even clicking on the magic unsubscribe button, a lot of that is a matter, as soon as you click on that, you get a Trojan horse in your machine. You have to be careful because there's so many people out there trying to rip off different good quality business people as you go through the normally daily routine of work. Smartphones, we have so much ability to access everything from our phones. Literally, when I walk into a classroom, I see everybody, there's 7 students waiting to get there early, and they're not talking to each other. They're looking on their cell phones. Yes, that's pretty normal. Try going 24 hours without your cell phone, and you'll go into full-blown withdrawal. Seriously, some people have an issue with that, and I understand because you're probably one of them too. We're switching to smaller laptops. Almost nobody has a desktop anymore. Those things are almost antiques. All of us got laptops, netbooks, smartphones. We're on them all the time. We store everything up in the cloud, like the cloud is really secure. Is it really? Okay, so you have to be careful on that. We have virtual private networks. We have a lot of good, solid access to it. A lot of us were involved, we're connected 24/7. I don't know about you. I have at least 4 or 5 different emails systems that I'm on. I'm on 7 different social media sites, and I'm pretty normal in the world of the business aspect of it. And then that reality of 24/7 access, there are people that just before they go to sleep at night, they sit down there and they kiss their cell phone and put it underneath their pillow just in case something happens. It could filter through the pillow osmosisly wise. Email, though, is not going away. It's a preferred channel for most business messages. I was recently involved in a potential lawsuit, and I went back trying to look on my phone for different text messages that he had. And here I had foolishly deleted the person's name for a person that had a job previously. And as soon as I did, I ended up deleting all of their texts. So all of a sudden, all that evidence was gone. Email, that would not have happened. So the reality of an email still is a really preferred channel for business messages. And much as I appreciate text because it's so much faster, the reality is that we sit down and we look at different aspects of it. Email still is a preferred medium because you can put attachments to it. It's got a good front view on it. And so you have that aspect of it. Really, we're spending at least 2 hours a day on email, plus you have texting and so on. It really has replaced a lot of paper memos inside organizations, but still the aspect of a PDF as an attachment really carries a lot of weight. A PDF is not actually a document, it's actually a picture. So whenever you send a PDF, it's smaller than you would like a Word document or other types of script documents, but the PDF is smaller, but also it's a lot more difficult to edit than you would have for other types of documentation. Sometimes it substitutes as a letter for external audiences. You can get through really fast on email. It's still growing strong. It's 50 years old. They had a birthday party for it someplace on planet Earth, but still, email traffic grows 4% a year. Now, it's growing 4% for email, plus you have this huge rise on social media. You have every single aspect there, and you have everything else from texting and so on, but email still grows. 120 messages a day. There's 125 billion business emails exchanged daily. Whether you like it or not, you will have to sit down and use email, at least on some of your transactions. Most business messages are still sent by email, and about 85% of them open your email on mobile devices, which means you better be concise, right to the point, make yourself clear in the aspect of every time you send a message, especially by email. A lot of them are confusing and poorly written. They're not well thought out. answering a large number of emails can be overwhelming. And we have this whole thing of the work-life thing being 24/7. And the boss calls, boom, you had that. Once upon a time, I endangered a promotion that I had one time where I had the president of the college calling me at home. And for some reason, she would call me. It was one night, it was 10:15 at night, and she called up, and I says, some of us sleep at night. She was deeply offended at that, and so I was on her dark list for a while. So you got to be careful in that, because some people have no life, and their life is work itself, and also that email. The email files leave trails and servers within and outside the organization. That's a big deal, because sometimes, even if you try to capture something on the inside, it gets out and it can be leaked out to the people. So make certain that whatever you write on your email, if it showed up on the front page of your local paper, digital or print, that it wouldn't be embarrassing. Be careful about putting things in text, no matter what happens, whether it's on a text, whether it's on email or whatever, because literally that can come back and haunt you. Organizations can monitor your personal email accounts. From an organizational perspective, that's handy. From a personal perspective, you better be careful what you're putting out there. A lot of your emails set up on your smartphones, and as soon as you start doing that, your smartphone, if it's used in the world of business, if there's a lawsuit involved, it becomes an area of investigation by the opposite side or your own attorney in the process for a lawsuit. So be careful of what you write. About 30% of bosses have fired an employee for some type of internet or email problem. Email is always best for short, informal messages and about information. It is a poor medium to convey emotion. So be cautious about adding emotional aspects to it and different feelings for it, because the medium just isn't appropriate for it. People can't see facial expressions. They can't hear tonalities. They can't hear sarcasm. All they see is text on the screen. If it's all in caps, they know you're yelling. So you got to be careful. It's really effective for multiple recipients, though. You can put multiple people on it, but the problem is all those people can forward it to people they think is appropriate that you may not think the same. It's a great way to sit down there and attach a file to it as well. So email has a lot of positive, but it's not a substitute for face-to-face or telephone calls. Those are much more human. They're much more informal, and you can say things on it that you would never say on email or text. Face-to-face, really, if you want to convey enthusiasm or warmth, explain a complex situation, have a persuasive argument to change somebody's mind, smooth over disagreements, they're 34 times more likely to comply in-person requests than those sent by email. That's what I said. Email is a good information tool, but it's not a good persuasive tool or emotional tool. The cell phone, a phone call, or a personal face-to-face greeting is so much more effective, because people are still people regardless of what things we've gone through. On professional emails, always have compelling subject lines. Boom. Make the statement what it's about. Don't play games. Don't be cute. Just sit down there and write what is it about, and then make certain that you get on it right away, but after a proper salutation. Always be kind, nice in the process. So salute the person in some type of a warm, affectionate greeting. Not too warm. Be careful. A lot of sexual harassment complaints can be made out of an email, so be careful. But the well-organized bodies have a good readability, a sense of flow, and also use the techniques we talked about already. Parallelism, make certain that you have appropriate punctuation, proofread it multiple times, there's no typos in it, and then you close. Open with a positive salutation, then the body that will support the topic, and then a close asking for some type of action, and make certain that your signature on the email will have good contact information. To keep your inbox in check, here's a couple of tips. Check it a couple times. Set time specifically. I was occupying 2 executive positions at one time for a year. That was not the smartest thing I've ever done. I was almost overwhelmed, because just the volume and the number of people involved really was very difficult. So I had so many emails. I was hitting close to 180 to 220 emails a day, because I'm working 2 vice chancellor jobs at the same time. So I ended up having to sit down and say, okay, I'm done. I will answer emails at 10 o'clock in the morning and 2:30 in the afternoon, and that's it. Don't expect a response unless it's an emergency. In emergency, you go through my executive assistant. So we did all that, and I turned off all the audio video alerts, and then I could focus in and get the work done that needed to be done. And also I could sit down and screen out the emails. So you have that aspect. There's also a 2-minute rule you should be paying attention to. If you open up an email and you can do something that the request in email takes just 2 minutes to get off your plate, do it there, do it then, do it now, and get it off. Otherwise, let it sit a little bit and ferment. And sometimes they actually go away. Sometimes you probably shouldn't do that, though. But the 2-minute rule really is very handy for getting things done. A lot of times you want to do what we call down editing. By down editing, you actually have the original email, and instead you say, see responses below. And then ideally, you want to sit down and delete the heading and everything else from the original sender and all the unnecessary part, and identify your response with the initials if more people will comment. But put down the answer right in the original email. It really will help you an awful lot. Ideally, if you can sit down, if they have a black text, use a blue text, a yellow text, or green text, or whatever it may be, but have something different to notate which ones are yours. That really helps an awful lot. It keeps everything in context. We call that down editing. Inner office memos. By the time you're all done, if it's too long for emails, or if it requires a permanent record, or if you want to sit down and go with some type of formality, that really helps an awful lot. So a memo can be a shocking document. It informs employees who don't have email, such as manufacturing, construction, and it also delivers changes in procedures. It should be more formal than an email or a simple text. Email, love it and hate it at the same time. Email does not have a life other than yours. So it's a far-reaching tool for good or bad. Email. Take care.